work in a hotel. I thought you were a photographer. And it just hit me. And I'm like, yeah, I am a photographer.
Right.
I think that's when I truly accepted that, yes, I am. And then came 2018, and I was like, no, it's time. I have to stop, the act.
Hmm.
I had to plunge.
Hey, Queens. Yeah, you. You know who you are. God, come on. Go ahead and put that crown on your head. Now tilt a little to the left. Now a little to the right. Perfect. Now let's get to work. Because we know you got big goals. And you got big dreams and not afraid to let them know. Why? Because you step into your purpose. You speak out on your faith. And you shift up in your journey. Because you a boss. Welcome to the podcast Drop the Expiring Act with your host Veli of QueenBayGoals.com, reminding you that you are a queen before anything else. It's your life and your goals. Make it royal. All right, y'all. Go ahead and work that crown. Hey, Queen Bays. Welcome to another episode of the Drop the Expiring Act podcast. Today we have with us Daniella Monestime. Hi, Daniella.
Hi, Valley. How are you?
I am good. So welcome to the podcast. So this season, guys, we were talking about fear and failure. And Daniela has a failure story to share with us. But before we get into that, I love her aspiring act story. How did you get into your craft of photography? Tell us how
Oh
you
my
got into
God.
it.
That is quite a story, actually. I was in a long-term relationship with my now husband. I was in Canada and him here in the States, which is not too bad because I mean it's about what? An 8-hour drive from Ottawa to New York.
Oh, wow.
So we were in this long-term relationship, 8 years together, and then I was like, okay, that's enough with this long ship, you know. So I decided to move. And I came to New York, and when I first moved here, I did not have my papers to work. And a couple of years before that, he had bought me a camera, which
Mm-hmm.
is another story that's quite amazing because I had put that camera on my vision board, which he did not know about, and he bought me the exact camera that I had on that vision
Oh,
board.
wow. I love it when
Yeah.
vision boards come to life.
I know, it's amazing. I had to write a big thank you on my vision board. So then I moved to New York and I did not have any working papers. I was waiting for them. So I spent the summer, I didn't know what to do. So I'm like, oh, the camera, let me pick it up. I started to go to different meetups and meet with other photographers. And I just fell in love with photography. It felt like, oh my God, I finally found my craft.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I had to do something creative. I tried so many things, starting with makeup artists and long list of things that I tried. And then I finally found my niche and I'm a photographer today.
Oh, I love it. I love
So
it.
that's how it all started. Yes.
I love it. So let's get into your failure story a little bit because you said in 2018 you left your job to go do your business full time. So what was the job that you left?
I was working at the Ritz-Carlton Central Park at the spa, La Prairie Spa, which was a beautiful job that I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
I love meeting all those celebrities. I love the products that we use. I've always been a spa buff, so to find myself in a spa, in a hotel, because I loved also working in hotels. I was in hotels for years with
Mm-hmm.
customer service, customer experience. So that's my jam. Definitely, I love that. But I found myself working at the Ritz-Carlton and I started photography, I would say about 2015. And it just started to grow and grow and grow. And 2018, actually 2015, I decided to start my business. Because when I discovered photography, I was like, okay, this is it for me. I'm not going anywhere. So 2015, I started the business, but I stayed in my job. So I
Mm-hmm.
was just doing it on the side, part-time. It was like, yeah, I had turned 50, and I felt like, okay, this is just a little something on the side. But it was aching inside. And I was like, why am I not doing this? Why don't I just go for it? I remember we were on vacation and one of my sister-in-law's nephew was there And we were talking. We were at the beach, all of us. We were talking, and I said, "Yes, the hotel. I met so and so at the hotel, because there was a lot of celebrities coming to the hotel." And he's like, "Huh? You work in a hotel? I thought you were a photographer."
Oh, okay.
And he just hit me, and I'm like, "Yeah, I am a photographer."
Right.
I think that's when I truly accepted that, yes, I am. And then came 2018, and I was like, no, it's time. I have to stop, the act.
Hmm.
I had to plunge.
So, what made you decide 2018 was it? You
Oh,
had started from 2015, so why didn't you jump
yes.
in at 2015? What happened in between those 3 years?
Because I felt that, I was riding two horses. I kept trying to figure out the time to do more of my business. I would go to bed so late because, I would go to work, and sometimes I
Hmm.
would work the late shift, come home, and then I'm working on my business until like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. It just didn't make sense anymore. I felt like I was, pulling myself two ways,
Yeah, me too.
and
Yeah.
nothing was good because I was no longer happy at the job, although that job was amazing for me. And that's what allowed me to buy all my equipment. And believe me,
Hmm.
photography equipment being so expensive, I was happy to have the job. But
Right.
then I got to the point where it was like, okay, am I really a business, or is this just a hobby? Because why am I incorporating and doing a bunch of things if I'm just doing that on the side and not really focusing on it? And I started not to be so happy at work.
Hmm.
So that's when I was like, okay, that's enough. It's time. It's time to make the big jump. So I jumped in 2018.
I love it. So I love it. Is amazing that you just stepped out and you said, okay, this is not a side hustle anymore. This is my full time gig. So we're gonna get into your failure story a little bit now. So you started in 2018. Then what happened?
Well, 2018 was amazing. It was exciting. It was fun. I was like, oh my God, I have my own business. I cleared the basement at home, and I told everyone this is my studio.
Mhm. I
I
love
kicked
it.
everybody out. So I have a beautiful space that I created, painted. It's the excitement of the first year. I did so much to make it like my space. I
Hmm.
cleaned, I bought furniture, I did so much. And I had clients coming in, and it was slowly building, but it was building. So
Right.
it was exciting. And then 2019 came, and things just slowly started to go down. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
Hmm.
And I just got into this rut, and I felt so discouraged. And I ended up, depleting my savings because, money wasn't coming in anymore. So I had to dip into my savings just to
Hmm.
survive. And I got to the point where I was like, okay, is this really for me? And I kind of resented photography. I
Oh.
think yes, I think I lost my passion for it. I became just a business owner,
Hmm.
focusing on the money, and I got to make money, I got bills to pay. And
Right.
I think that's the part that got killed in me, that passion for photography. I kind of suppressed it because I became that business owner. And now when I look back, I can see that this is why 2019 did not work as well, because I was focusing so much on business, 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 and not so much on my passion, and
Right.
fueling myself with this passion. So 2019 was very hard. And of course came 2020.
Yeah. Right. So 6 feet.
I went from up here to down there completely. I hit rock bottom, and I could not believe it. I remember at the beginning of 2020, I had a job that I was completing for this company who had, commissioned me to take pictures of trucks. Believe it or not, as a portrait photographer, I ended up taking pictures of trucks, but I had fun. But then, the shipment was and then they ended up ordering huge wall art, which I was really happy. It was a good contract. Things arrived broken. I had to go back trying to get money because I had to reorder things.
Hmm.
Some were covered, some were not covered. Everything that could go wrong went wrong with that contract.
Oh
So
wow.
that's how I started 2020 in the middle of the pandemic. They received everything. There was no one at the office. So I guess, they just dropped the package however they
Hmm.
could, whoever dropped it. But it was like the worst experience ever. I started 2020 in tears, like, oh my God, I can't believe this just happened. like, this is not good. But then throughout 2020, I took some time to reconnect with photography.
I love that. Yeah.
I really took some time. I started to do a few self portraits and I slowly started to put them on cards, on greeting cards, which I adore. I love cards. I have boxes of cards at home. You want a card? Birthday, wedding? Ask me. I have one.
That sounds like another side hustle for you.
Yes, it's kind of started, but I put it aside because I'm refocusing on my business. But this is something
Hmm.
that I'm doing slowly, no pressure, but it's just allowing me to love photography again. Just taking self-portraits to put on the cards, and it's fun, it's feminine, it's a little bit of, um, seductive. So I enjoy it. I'm just enjoying that process. And that really did help me to get back in touch with my love for photography. And I also started to do project just for me without the
Hmm.
pressure of clients. So I've
Right.
had friends coming in and I'm like, let's just take pictures. And if it's good, it's good. If it's not, that's fine. It's just for me. So that has helped me a lot to reconnect with my love for photography.
I love it. So tell us about your business today because you said you're doing a campaign that I love. Um,
Yes.
My Silver Crown. Tell us
Yes.
about that
Yes.
campaign. I just loved it when I read it.
Well, through the pandemic, what happened to me is that I also redirected my business. When I first started my business, I really wanted to address a certain population, mainly women over 45, 50 in
Hmm.
midlife, starting to feel like, oh, I no longer feel the way I used to feel when I
Hmm.
was young, and vivacious and everything. So
Right.
I decided to go back to this love of mine to help women. I just felt it myself as I was getting older. I could feel the difference. I could feel that, I was diminishing. And because of that, I said, no, I want to put these women up front. I want to put them in front of my camera and give them a beautiful experience. And of course, at that age, you start going gray. Look at mine. I'm a little salt and pepper. So I decided to do this campaign that I started recently, and it just gives me so much joy. My Silver Crown is a campaign where I'm encouraging women with their silver hair to come in for a portrait session and just showcase their silver crown.
I love it.
Yes, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I have a lady coming in next week, and we're so excited. We've been chatting about what she's gonna wear and the
Hmm.
lighting. And she's like, I want to
That
make
sounds
sure that
like
my
so much
hair really shows. I'm like, yeah, don't worry.
fun.
It is. It is. It's like playing dress up again.
Right.
It's a
So,
lot
what
of
do you
fun.
say to
Yes.
the creative dreamer who is ready to go and jump into their business, but they're just not sure about it? What advice would you give to that person?
Go for it. Definitely there will be challenges, and challenges are part of life.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that between jumping and staying back, I think I don't think I would have been as happy as I am. Even though I had to go through all the ups and
Mm-hmm.
downs, that's part of
The
the
journey.
the journey. Exactly. That is part of the journey, those ups and downs. And I embrace them now because all these ups and downs have also allowed me to be here now celebrating women, with their silver hair. I
Right.
don't think that would have happened if things had just gone, along, because I was photographing everyone left, right, maternity, babies, you name it, I was I was
Mhm.
doing it. So by being able to take this time and just, refocusing my business, I was able to get to where I'm at now. So I would totally tell them, go for it. Of course, make sure you have some backing because financially it can be very hard. And I also
Right.
want to tell them one thing, even if it gets to the point where you may have to take a part-time job, that's okay, because that job is just something that's going to help you continue on with your dream. Whenever I do something outside, because I did take a part-time job for a while, and I looked at it as, this is my investment into my
Right. I love
business,
that.
this
Hmm.
money that's coming in, oh yes,
You have to
money
change your
that's coming in,
mindset.
this is
Hmm.
to reinvest. Exactly, it's all about mindset. So I did not look at the job like, oh my god, I fell, I totally fell at this, I had to take a job. I stopped that because I did start with that mindset, but then I switched it and I said, no, this job is just to help me keep going with my dream. So just go
Right.
for it. Be passionate. You only live once. You only live once. So make you do what your heart tells you to do.
I love it. That's the best advice. So there's how can we connect with you if we want to get into this well, I'm not there yet, but I know I
You're
will
not
be.
there.
But how can we
But
get connect with you?
I am all about empowered aging. That's my new thing now. And I empowered aging for me is encouraging women of women of all ages to embrace what's coming next. And not just women, men as well. So to get in touch with me, you have my website, DanielaMonet.com. So that is
Mhm.
DanielllaMone.com. I am on Instagram, the DMP Experience, and of course on Facebook as well. And I also do headshots. So if anybody needs headshot or branding images, you can contact me as well.
And you also have a podcast coming out called Bubbles of Wisdom. And I listened to
Yes,
your preview episode with your cousin. I listened to
that's
that.
right.
So tell us about your podcast too that's coming out.
Well, Bubbles of Wisdom came from all that time that we spent during the pandemic. My cousin and I, well, it was mainly me, and I reached out to her. I said, listen, we need to start a podcast because we've been going through all that thing, that aging thing, the menopause, the this, the that. So we decided, let's do it. Let's empower aging with a
Right.
podcast. So we're going to have guests and we're just going to chat about aging. And there's no subject that we will not touch. We're ready. And we're doing this with a glass of bubbly. So it's even better.
It's
So,
always better with a glass of bubbly, right?
you know, yeah. So we'll be also introducing bubblies, teaching people how to taste bubblies because you can't have a party without bubblies.
Exactly. I love it. So you guys, I'm gonna put all the links where you can find her website if you're looking for headshots, pictures, and her podcast because that's coming out, and I'm
Yes.
looking forward to more episodes of that. So all the links will be
Thank
down
you,
below. You
Valley.
guys don't have to go searching for it. So we always close out our podcast with a quote, and this season our guests are given a quote. And yours was, the real test is not whether you avoid this failure, because you won't. It's whether you let it harden or shame you into inaction, or whether you learn from it, whether you choose to persevere, by Barack Obama. So tell us
Yes.
why you chose that quote.
I chose that quote because I felt that that's what I went through. I did not let that failure just, make me shrink and go into my little corner and just accept it. Failure is part of the journey.
Right. I
So
love
that's why I
that.
chose that quote.
I love it. So that's a perfect way to end the show, guys. Failure is a part of the journey, and that's something that we all have to learn through life. So make sure you come back and listen to another episode of the Drop This Spot Night podcast. All season long, we're talking about fairs and failures because, failure is a part of the journey. It's only a failure if you stop and you don't keep going. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you in the next episode. You have been listening to another episode of Drop the Aspiring Act. If you're looking for more information of this podcast and other episodes, please visit queenbaegoals.com. That's QueenBaeGoals.com. All right, y'all. I'll see you in the next podcast.